Welcome back to All Things the Podcast. To find out how Gage is dealing with his newfound fame, having featured in The Sun, The New York Post, and LADBible recently. And we've got a very special guest talking about B2B wholesale, Shopify, Google Ads, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Welcome back to All Things the Podcast. I'm Ben. I've got newly globally infamous Gage on my right.
Yeah, stop it already, Ben. Can we go?
I've got Harry on my left.
Hello.
And a very special guest here. We've got Asim, also known as Nova. So in his own words, he has been turning code into commerce. So really excited to have him with us today. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's our pleasure. So you've got your fingers in a lot of pies. So I'm just going to rattle off some of the things we're going to be talking about. You're not just doing Amazon, you're doing TikTok Shop, eBay, Shopify, back market, B2B wholesale, B2C wholesale. The list goes on. But let's go back to the start. So how did you get into the world of e-commerce and coding? What's your story?
Yeah, so coding came quite late, actually. I tried to learn to code many times throughout my childhood. The first time I actually learned it was at university. Because I was basically forced to, but e-commerce came way before then. So actually, I tell this story quite often. I got into e-commerce completely by chance. I was 14. I didn't really have a lot of money at the time, and there were these Beats headphones that I really wanted, but they're far too expensive to buy brand new. So what I did was I started doing some research at the time, and I found that it's possible to buy like a pre-owned version of these headphones. So I went to Gumtree at the time and just basically started haggling with a bunch of different sellers on there. Most people obviously reject it because I was being ridiculous. They were like 150 brand new. And I only had £20 at the time.
That's quite the low ball.
That is quite the low ball. It was ridiculous. I don't know how, but somehow a person like accepted my offer, and I didn't drive. Obviously, I was 14. I somehow managed to convince that person to deliver it to me for £20,
Including delivery.
Including delivery. Till this day, I think it was fake, but like even then it was a ridiculous deal, and I was over the moon to be able to get it for such a cheap price, and then a few weeks go by. I'm getting bored of them. I'm like, what, I probably should sell them. I need some money. I didn't have any money at the time, so I list it on Gumtree again for £40. Because I'm expecting people to be like me. Everyone's like me. Without any money, they're going to haggle, and I'll get my £20 back. But somehow, within like a day or two, I have someone that comes, picks it up from me, pays me the £40, and it was then that I just realised that you can actually make money by selling stuff on the internet. And yeah, it just went from there. I started just Gumtree at the time. Facebook Marketplace wasn't a thing back then. What I did was I had like an interest in PCs, building computers. So what I did was like I just watched tutorials on end, and then like I'd started building them and selling them on Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace. Eventually, moved on to eBay, moved on to lots and lots of other marketplaces. I've been doing this for a very long time now. Since I was 14, I'm 24 now. It dawned on me that it's been 10 years of doing this. But yeah,
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So long journey doing it. There's like many crazy stories that happened on the way. Like when you're dealing with eBay and other marketplaces like this, you don't really have any customer interactions. There was this one-time crazy story that happened where this ex-convict bought a PC from me and tried claiming warranty. A little while later, I was like 16 at the time, and kept like harassing me, and I googled his name because I wasn't sure, and then I just saw like some scary stories on the internet about him. Yeah. Other times there was this person who it was just my brother at home at the time, no one else, and I used to sell them from my house, which, like, to anyone watching this, do not sell anything from your house. But yeah, it was like midnight, and then he came knocking on the door trying to get his money back, and it was just my brother by himself. There obviously a lot of crazy things happened when you're just dealing with people directly, and it's why I was happy to eventually move on to eBay, and yeah, I haven't looked back since. But it's how I started. It was my journey, part of the process.
Well, yeah, you definitely don't want ex-convicts knowing your address,
absolutely,
especially when they think you owe them money as well.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So Asim, tell us, what kind of figures have you been doing recently?
So I can tell you the figures that I do, but it wouldn't be representative at all, because I was thinking about this today actually. And say you're on Amazon at the minute, and you've got 40% ROIs, and it's very different to say if you're doing business to business wholesale, because that's what I'm doing mostly at the minute. Like, I'm trying to transition as far away as possible from doing Amazon and just business to customer. Obviously, business to customer is the most profitable per transaction. But like, to give you an idea, sometimes if it's a business to business deal, we're operating on 3% margins. And so like if I say, I'm doing X amount, it might sound like I'm doing quite a lot in revenue, but in reality, when you're doing business to business, the margins are very, very slow, very, very small. Sorry. It's been increasing. Hopefully, it continues to increase, but hopefully, just.
But I guess with business to business, you can operate on those lower margins because there's less chance of someone returning a massive order and filling your boxes with cereal. That people do on Amazon.
Absolutely, it's a completely different set of rules when you're doing business to business, and I looked like quite an amateur when I started, because everyone there in the game is like, has been doing it for like 20 plus years. They're all in their 40s and 50s, and they all operate with purchase order. I didn't know what that was, a purchase order. They all operate with trust. There was the first deal that I had that was business to business. It was very, very scary because a lot of it works on trust. So what happened was this deal was bigger than anything I had ever done before. Like, just this one deal is more than like monthly Amazon sales revenue by quite a bit, right? And the supplier took the entire stock, like from our facility, and didn't pay. Like, obviously, when you work with Amazon, you're going to get your money back. And this supply was quite large, right? They had a presence about them. They were international, but at the same time, like, it was the first time I had ever done anything like this, and I didn't know anyone that did this as well. So what had happened was he came, he collected it wasn't him, one of his people came and collected the item. Generally, you're meant to ship it to your suppliers. So this guy, he comes in with like a hatchback, like a small car. It was, quite, and took the entire stock in that hatchback. And like I was very scared when that happened. And then the supplier told me, I'll pay you tomorrow. I call him, no payment at all. He's like, no, don't worry about it. Oh, we're just waiting on money to come in. Well, and then it was the weekend, no money at all. I contact him on Monday. Where's the payment? And he's like, no, I'm just waiting on some stuff to come in. Obviously, I'm getting a bit shaken up. I start, researching him on company's house. I find that, the company has a lot of debt. The directors have been loaning quite a lot from the company for a few years.
I assume you now do this research before.
Right, yeah. The thing is, right, I do a lot of stupid stuff. I have made so many mistakes when it came to. I've lost a lot of money as well. But like my philosophy is like just try and grow as quickly as possible. Just do as many stupid stuff as possible, like within reason, obviously, until like you have the things that click and it works for you. But yeah, like I hadn't actually researched him as much as I should have. Like I know like in the wholesale game it's different. Like what you have to do is you have payment terms. Generally speaking, you send the goods to your customers and they pay you within 30 days. That's how it works. So like I was aware of that, and that's why I didn't think too much of it. But like just because he'd promised he'd pay straight away, obviously there was zero cash flow at the time as well. But yeah, very very stressful. A few days that first time it happened, and it eventually he paid the money, and it was all good. But like this is what I mean about wholesale being a completely different ball game. There's a lot of trust, and you can't it's not it's not allowed for you to be mediocre in the wholesale game. You can't afford to make mistakes at all, or to say for example, there was this one time like a week ago, right, or one or two. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago where our customer, the same wholesale customer I'm talking about, wanted to purchase stock from us. So I said, all right, sure, no worries. He messaged at 8 o'clock. I said, yeah, we'll have the stock ready by 1 p.m. And sorry, we'll have the stock ready by 2 p.m. because the warehouse workers come at 1 p.m. to do the stock check. Now, what we were doing at the time was horrible. We'd use spreadsheets and scanners, and it takes a very very long time. So 2 p.m. comes around, and we haven't got the stock ready. The stock count ready is like. What's your stock count? Sorry, we haven't got it. Can you give us until 3 p.m.? I give the warehouse workers like another hour. It's only like 150 units that they have to go through to reconcile it. Quarter to it comes around, and still haven't got that stock check. And he calls at 3 p.m. Where's your stock? Sorry, we haven't got it. I asked one of the virtual staff that we have, like, to just check the tracking numbers to see. Send him that at 3:30. Of course, by then, he's not going to be waiting around for us. He's got lots of other people he can purchase from. We lose out on that, and you can't afford to hold stock with wholesale. Like I mentioned, 3% margins. You need to keep moving quickly. And yeah, you lose out on that deal. But like conversely, there's another time. It was last week or the week before. What happened was there was like this new supplier that we were working very very hard to land, and it was a massive company, like several times bigger than this first one that we were dealing with. And it was a pain to get them to accept us. We're the little guy, relatively speaking. We don't have the history. They're founded in like 2000, international all over the world. We try, email after email after email for them to accept us. Like, okay, we want, we want to see your profit loss statements. We want to see your bank statements. We want to see this and that. Like asking for way more information than anyone else. And then like you have to be persistent with this. Eventually. I keep messaging the CEO of the company, and they're like, okay, we can trade with you, but we need stock. So this was Thursday. This was the Thursday that they messaged. We need the stock to our London facility on the Friday morning because we need to ship it internationally the same day. Of course, like there's absolutely no way at all for us to get it to them that quickly. So what I did was, I don't usually work from our storage facility. I work from elsewhere. But like what I did was, it was past like our latest collection for the day. So what I did was go back to the storage facility, help the team in the storage facility, like pack everything quickly, so we can drop it off at the post office. We're paying extortionate prices for like Royal Mail special delivery next day because this is like a big bulk order, and you need it to go next day via post office because our latest collection is gone. Obviously, we can't afford to lose this supply. We've just spent weeks and weeks and weeks trying to land this supplier, and you need to do everything you can to land this supplier. So go back, help everyone package. My car's not big enough for this. There's no van at all. So we were going to take several trips there to the post office. We pack everything. We load like the first lot of boxes in my car. We go to the post office, the one that we usually go to. This is like at 4:30. Post office closes at 5. Latest Royal Mail collections are at 5. What happens is, for some reason, it's like completely shut, the one that we normally go to. Here I am panicking. I'm like, okay, what do? I drive back. I don't know what to do. We keep looking for like local post offices, but like every single one of them is tiny, and it's getting close to 5 p.m.
How many sort of boxes are we talking? How big is your shipment that you were trying to
So it's not very big at all. I think it was exactly 15 boxes. I think every one of them is like the standard Amazon size box, the 60 by 60 by 60, or a bit smaller. I'm not sure. But obviously that's not fitting in my car, and we're on a time crunch here. We need to get this sorted, right? So it's 4:30. Looking around trying to find post offices. We go back to our storage facility. I tell the warehouse guys just help prep this other stuff whilst I run to the nearest post office. I start sprinting. I go on Google Maps, start sprinting to the nearest one. I get there within 10 minutes. I'm like, when's your latest collection for the day? He's like, yeah, sorry, boss, we close in 5 minutes. And I look at their place, and it's tiny. It's like the size of a large wardrobe, or the 15 boxes aren't fitting there. I'm like, right, if we can get them to you very quickly, would you mind, if we drop a few boxes? He was like, nah, boss, absolutely no chance. The guy wants to go home. Latest Royal Mail collections, I think it's about to go, or they've come already, and there's no space whatsoever. So here I am panicking. There's no other options at all. What am I going to do? Can't afford to lose this supplier. For this particular product that we're selling, there's only maybe like 3 or 4 players in the UK. You lose one of them, that's like a massive proportion of your revenue gone. This is why as well we can chat about selling internationally as well, other things we've been exploring. I go back home, really don't know what to do. Go on Google, start searching for van deliveries or van services. Obviously this is like 6-7 p.m. now. We need the stock to be in London by like 7 a.m.
So is this from Manchester?
From Manchester to London, right? Start calling a lot of people. The majority, they're like, no, we're not going to do it. It's far too late notice. Other people, extortionate prices, like you can tell they're taking advantage of the situation. But then there was this one guy who bless him, he had like lots of good reviews on Google, and he was like, are you doing this for business, or are you doing this like as a house removal? I say business, and he goes for a little bit, and he's like, yeah, 6 a.m. I'll be there, and his price was very, very cheap. I was a little surprised by that, but I was like, I didn't think much of it. All right, sure. Like I also had this other guy as a backup option at like 8 a.m. in case this first guy doesn't show up, because I was thinking there's a pretty low chance of this guy showing up, right? 6 a.m. At such late notice. But yeah, I don't normally wake up at this time. I had to set my alarm at 5 a.m. like the whole night. I couldn't sleep as well. So like I went to sleep at 12 p.m. Normally I sleep a lot earlier than that. So from like 12 p.m. to 5 a.m. I'm waking up every half an hour because I'm very nervous. I'm thinking that I can't afford to not wake up and miss this. Waking up every half an hour, alarm finally goes off at like 5 a.m. and then get out of bed, get dressed, go down to the storage place, and the guy, he's there. Very surprised. It was a young fella as well. Didn't expect that at all, because most of these van companies, it's all older people. And, I was surprised. I thought he was like just one of the people that work for this company, because it's quite a big company, right? But then, I'm surprised. I start loading the van with this guy, and we start start chatting with him. And he was actually a younger guy that started off as like a van driver, and then just started buying more and more vans, expanding his team. And he said like the only reason that he accepted this was like he knew the company. I was very surprised by this, because I messaged him on WhatsApp, but I realized afterwards that it was like a business WhatsApp that I never use, and it had like the website. So he'd done some research into us, and he was like, he never drives. He used to drive. He used to be a van driver, but he said he doesn't drive anymore. He lets, he takes care of the admin stuff, but he found that it was very late notice. He did some research into us, and basically what he was saying was like, this was more towards the end of the journey, that like, for him, this is like an opportunity when it's business to business. The exact same thing that we were doing with this other supplier as well. So he was like, if we can land this contract with this UK distributor,
You'll use him again.
exactly, we'll use him again for all of our stuff. And this is why he got up at whatever time he got up at. He doesn't drive vans, or I don't think he does it very often at all. He's got all of these guys doing it for him. He took like the 4.5-hour journey all the way to London to go to this supplier. Also, like we just about made it to this supplier's facility. It's not even their facility. So this supplier is this wholesale customer is very, very big. They use other companies to distribute things for them internationally. So we went to their facility, and it was an interesting experience, because like the sales representative, I get there and he's not picking up the phone. I've got all of this stock with me. I want confirmation that that this deal can proceed, and they were telling me, this guy, he's in Miami now. I'm like, all right, but like I'm here with all of this stock. What am I gonna do? Like, I can't go back to Manchester. Right? It needs to be sorted. So like, a little while later, I think he wakes up, and we sort the deal. All is fine. We don't get payment, obviously, because that's how it works in the wholesale game. But like, these are the lengths that you have to go to secure that deal. Also, like that van service, it's way more expensive than like using a courier like DPD or whatever. So that cost us a lot of money. We didn't even really make much money at all from this, but it's all about like securing that first deal.
Yeah, getting your foot in the door.
Absolutely, and that's how it is in the wholesale space.
Yeah, that's completely different to the OA game, because I guess you're very you're stuck with deadlines, and if you don't hit those deadlines, you're going to lose that person as a supplier or a customer. So
for sure,
because like obviously with OA Amazon, it's kind of dependent on you just shipping the stuff out the door. You can do it when you want, and then Amazon takes care of the rest. So yeah, but then you don't get the big money opportunities like you've got. So you refer to we quite a lot. So have you got a team that you work with? How many
So we have warehouse staff. We also have a lot of online staff that work remotely. So we've got staff that work on our pricing. If you're selling on multiple different platforms, you need to make sure you're always competitive on every single platform. A lot of these platforms don't have repricers similar to how Amazon does.
Could be an opportunity there.
Could be an opportunity. Exactly. I was thinking about this today. Back Market doesn't have a repricer, or like there aren't really many out there. When it comes to eBay, there's repricer.com, which reprices based on like EAN, but obviously that's not as versatile. And with eBay, there's a lot more at play when it comes to pricing. With Amazon, it's all race to that buy box. All you can do is focus on your price. Maybe, someone might click on that show more sellers option, and you've got a better rating, or if it's better delivery, chances are you've got buy box anyway. But like, there's not really much you can do, especially if you're not doing private label where you're in control of the listing. With eBay, it's a completely different ball game. I've got friends that are able to sell stuff. Like, we do electronics, so what they're able to sell stuff for like 25% to 50% more of like the other eBay market rate, just because they're able to position themselves in such a way where they're able to offer, say, warranty, they're able to offer nicer listings, free returns, whatever else. So yeah, there aren't really many options for repricers. So yeah, it's a good thing to look into.
So I think a lot of people listening right now, they're probably Amazon sellers or ex-sneaker resellers or whatever, and are wondering, how on earth do you get into business to business?
Oh, it's an interesting story, actually. So with me, I try to never say no. That's cost me a lot in time, and like, wasted time and doing things that don't really matter. But for me, it was very it was like a simple story. What happened was, I was selling a particular product. This guy reaches out to me on eBay, and this is like, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but this is why it's very important to like have high visibility listings across all your platforms, because you get people reaching out to you, have more opportunities. But yeah, have this business reaching out to us on eBay. He's like, yeah, do you want to purchase 200 of this particular product? And I was thinking, yeah, we're running out of this. This product is hard to get hold of. They're selling it to us for quite an expensive price, but we're making profit on this, and it's Christmas, and let's go for it. At the time, I did some wholesale before, but like, I wasn't really actively purchasing wholesale deals. So this guy offers some stock. I'm like, yeah, I'll take 50 a week off you. This is what I was talking about as well when it comes to unwritten rules of wholesale. 50 a week, he'll laugh at you like, what are you doing about, with 50 a week? He wants his stock in and out straight away as soon as it comes in. That's how they make their money, right? So he was like, yeah, boss, this isn't going to happen. 50 a week. Like, I've got 3 other buyers lined up today. They're going to take it. I'm like, all right, this is a lot more stock than I need. And to be honest with you, we've still got that stock sitting. We sold most of it, but we've still got it sitting because it's dropped in price since. But that's comes with the game. He reached out to us. I'm like, all right, sure, cool. We'll make it happen. We'll make the deal happen. And then I just thought to myself, right, if this guy can just find our listings and we can negotiate a deal together, why can't I do the same thing? So then what do? I go on Google. I type in the products, like some of the products that we sell, and I look into who's got like websites, who's got their own websites selling our products. And then what I do is I'm like, all right, make a note of them in a spreadsheet, start cold calling them. The majority of them don't reply. And it was then that I realized that all of these big companies, their retail stores, or their online retail sites, are different companies completely from their distribution companies, right? So like, what they'd have is they'd have the distribution company, and then they'd have the retail company. So what you have to do is find the distribution company, and then find the people of interest. Typically, I use LinkedIn for that. Very good for that. Or like, go on the company website, see who's in that company, who might be a good point of contact. For bigger companies, typically you don't want to go to the big boss straight away. You might want to go to a sales rep. For the smaller companies, you might go to the big boss straight away. It all depends. And then you just contact them. You're like, all right, we've seen you selling XYZ stock. We've got XYZ stock. We can offer it to you for for whatever price is. Are you interested? And if your prices are good, they're going to get back to you. But you also need to have like a bit of a history about you, a bit of an online presence about you. Your company has to be established for a while. If you're not VAT registered as well, like I don't know how many of the viewers would be VAT registered, but like if you want to get into wholesale, you can't not be VAT registered.
They won't even email you back if you're not.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly that. Also, like when you're doing wholesale, like VAT threshold isn't really a thing. So like, you know, if you want to get into it, I would recommend everyone is VAT registered. Like there isn't a single big player, obviously, that isn't. So
Yeah, I think that's why OA is a good kind of entry level into it. Learn how the whole online selling process works. Get up to your 85 grand in a year, and by that point, you'll have experience and you'll be able to go for some of the bigger deals, and then you'll be VAT registered by that point.
Absolutely, agree with you 100%. Wholesale isn't if you're just getting started, in my opinion. The reason for that isn't because wholesale deals aren't good, or that like wholesale margins are small, or you have to move it quickly. I think wholesale gives you less opportunity to learn how things work. So when it comes to online arbitrage, you can purchase one single unit of anything you want, right? And you know, if you've only got like a few £100 or £1,000 or whatever it is, you know, you can buy many different SKUs and just try everything and get an opportunity to fail. With wholesale, yes, you can do that, but the chances are if you're buying from a supplier with a minimum order quantity of 5, the deal's probably not that good to begin with, unless it's like, you know, some super expensive like electronic item, or, you know, in like, you know, specialist industry item or whatever it is, right? So this is why I recommend online arbitrage. I've never really done retail arbitrage at all, to be honest with you, but like I see people have success with that as well. That's a good thing to get into.
Yeah, retail arbitrage is good because most people are too lazy to go out and actually start scanning stuff. But yeah, it's interesting, the parallels between OA and the wholesales. It's kind of, you have the opposite issue. So like if you go to Boots and try and order 20 of something, they'll just cancel your order, probably close your account and put you on a blacklist. If you go to a wholesaler and ask for 20 units, they'll laugh at you because it's too low of an order instead of too high. So
exactly. It's quite tricky. It's quite tricky when you're getting started and you make a lot of mistakes. So I was just having a chat with one of my staff members yesterday, and we were laughing at how, like, when we first got into online arbitrage, these guys had zero experience whatsoever with anything to do with Amazon or online arbitrage. You know, they're just, you know, spreadsheet work, that sort of thing. And I was like, you know, let me teach these people from my experience. And at the time, I knew nothing about Amazon arbitrage. What I was doing at the time was selling refurbished stock on eBay and Amazon. Open box stuff, that sort of thing. So stuff that, and it's all popular stuff anyway. So like stuff that I know sells. So all I knew about online arbitrage and Amazon is buy price higher, or is buy price lower than sell price? If it is, you've got a margin there and you can sell the item. So the way I used to teach them to source before back then was, if the buy box minus fees and VAT and whatever, and minus buy price is positive, you know, that we'll buy that. I didn't know anything about Keeper. I didn't know anything about, all the other things that you have to look into. Also, by the way, just shout out to Ben and to Gage as well. Yeah. At the time, I went and watched an ATA video. Shout out ATA as well. Yeah. To learn about Keeper and how to analyze like profitability. And there's this thing that I think it was you, Ben, you taught it, where like when you have peaks, that indicates sales. And I was like, if I had known this, I wouldn't have bought 100 units of this product. And
they're selling twice a month, and I've got 100.
That's exactly what happened when we first started. Like, I purchased some products from this large famous electronics company, but I learned later that their products are not very popular, especially the accessories. Like, they do laptops and that sort of thing, and the laptops do very well, but like their accessories just no one cares about. But and their prices are cheap on their retail sites or like their business sites. So I bought 100 units of this particular product. I'm like, wow, look at that margin. But I didn't realize at the time that this product had like a super red BSR. I think it was in like the few hundred thousands, and it gets like one sale every 90 days.
Yeah, you only actually made the margin if you sell the product.
That's the thing, yeah. Yeah, I've had like lots of crazy losses.
I bet they were really happy to sell that to you.
Yeah,
They're
I
probably
was
thinking,
like,
who the hell has bought 100 of these?
yeah, there's this other retailer as well. I didn't realize it until after. So what this retailer does is they buy from this big electronics company all their failed products, and I didn't realize this because it was very, very strange. I saw that this particular online store, it had like a lot of these products from this big retailer for very cheap prices. And it wasn't until later that I realized it's because these items aren't selling well at all for the retailer and anywhere else, that they have to sell them in bulk to whoever would buy it from them. They get it on for pennies on the pound, and then they sell it to me for what appears to be a good deal, but in actual fact it's not at all. So like I remember I bought I think it was 10 units or like 20 units of this particular product, and I didn't think much of it, and what happened was the account manager for one of these online stores, they get back to me. They're like, we've seen that you've purchased however many of those units. We can get you some more of these. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take some more, no problem. Obviously, this was like a terrible product at the time, but he said, I'll only give you this deal if you take this other product with it. And I was thinking, yeah, the margin on this product is quite good on Amazon. There's like a 20-30 pound profit per unit on this product, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take it, no problem. I take the product and it just sits there for months on end, and like I realized many months later that he was bundling this product because he can't sell it and the original retailer can't sell it, and now I'm left holding
the bag.
Yeah.
So I assume he didn't come back and say, "Oh, do you want to buy some more of these?" Because he knew it was such a dud.
Yeah. No,
that
I
he
didn't
just,
hear
like,
from him
ran
again.
away.
I didn't hear from him again.
Yeah, caught you with your
They
pants.
do like to do that though. If you're asking for a hot product, they'll like to bundle shit with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they appreciate the shout out for ATA there. So Harry's got his hands above the desk now. The gun's no longer
I was,
there.
just underneath today.
But yeah, we're actually so we're imminently releasing a lot of changes to ATA. We're revamping the server, which is going to be pretty exciting. And you've got by the time this episode airs, it'll all be live. So yeah, and you've got something quite cool so this will be an exclusive. So Asim will be the first person to hear about your new features for ATA. Do you want to go?
Yeah, so I scraped every single product on John Lewis, Game, and Costco, and we are now monitoring for any drastic price drops on every single product on the sites.
So the entire site.
The entire site. Anytime there's a discount above 25%, it'll get notified in the Discord, and we can hopefully snap up kind of price errors and discounted stuff quickly.
Yeah, there we go. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, and then you've been in ATA for a couple of years now. We had you did a Q&A on the eBay, and you actually provide electronic flips for the group as well.
That's right,
so, so that these are like high ticket electronic items that are usually good for selling on eBay, but some of them can be done on Amazon as well.
I've done a few on Amazon.
I've done a few too. Yeah.
So where do you have you coded your own sort of price monitors to get these, or
actually no. So this was before I knew anything about VAs or anything like that. I used to provide for ATA, and then it was coming up to like exam season at university. So like I was like, okay, so what I can do is I can either pause the electronics flip service now, or I can find a solution. I didn't really want to pause it because it's very difficult to secure a group. I remember for ATA, it was like a mutual friend of myself and Gage that like recommended me. And I was like, if we pause this, I don't know if it will continue or whatever. And it was like, it wasn't an option. So what I was thinking was there's this guy that I knew from this other group that used to... That was like used to find deals not to resell, maybe to resell, but he wasn't a reseller. This wasn't like his full-time job. He or like even part-time job. He just did it for fun, and he had like another job. He just like tech, and he's always looking for good deals for himself for personal. So I reached out to this guy, and I was like, would you mind, getting X amount per month to just share those deals with me, and I can share them to a few groups. He was like, yeah, sure, no worries at all. And he's actually been the one doing it ever since. So it's not actually me. No, yeah.
The secret's out now.
Yeah, the secret's out. Yeah. But
we'll have to discuss the payment.
Yeah, but like, he was the first person that like I ever worked with. In that respect, virtually. I didn't know about VAs at all. I actually learned about VAs from ATA as well. Shout out ATA. But
use code podcast for something.
Yeah, guns under the table.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the one that does the electronics flips, but I've made quite a bit of money off some of them as well. Lots of the Samsung ones. If anyone's actually starting out on Amazon or just starting out reselling, I'd recommend the cashback deals from the Samsung flips. The reason they're good is because the ROI is very, very high, and you're very unlikely to make a loss ever with them, just because the products are in such high demand, and they don't brick just because they take a bit of effort to get that cashback back and to wait for it. But obviously, you're without your cash for however long it takes to get your cash back. So yeah.
Is there any catch to that? Because I did one for Epson, and they were like, we want to see the serial number on the back of the actual product, which you obviously can't do if you're selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
Is there a catch to the Samsung ones, or is it just a case of a waiting game?
No, I think you do need to provide them with serial numbers. I think as well you might need to provide them with like the item unboxed. I'm not sure if that's always the case with all of them. It's been quite a while since I did Samsung cashback specifically, just because of what I mentioned earlier. It takes a long time to do it. You can only do like 4 units per individual or 10 per business. So yeah, it takes a long time to do, and it takes a bit of effort. So yeah, you need the serial number as well. But like if you've got time on your hands, it's like a very easy way to get started reselling and to make some money online. So I'd recommend them for sure. Yeah.
I have an interesting question. So there's lots of people who are doing OA, and I think a big buzzword at the moment, or I think for the past few months, has like been people getting into wholesale. Last year it was people trying to sell in the US. Now it's kind of, I want to get into wholesale. How did you get your first supplier? And how would you kind of change that for an advice for someone listening?
Okay. So my first supplier, wholesale supplier, actually was an online store. So it was what I was talking about previously, where they have their own online store and then they have their distribution company. What I did was I purchased a lot of units from their online store. They took interest. They were like, okay, we can sell this guy some stuff. And they offered me this particular product to resell, the same product to resell on. I was very surprised at the time because I was thinking, why aren't these guys selling it on Amazon? Like, you can make so much money if you're selling it on Amazon. It just didn't make sense to me at the time. I was like, there's something dodgy here. Obviously me being stupid, but of course, like, when it comes to wholesale, this isn't the name of the game. You don't hold stock. You shift stock very quickly, small margins, and you keep it moving quickly. I think you mentioned on like one of your videos before, Ben, something about like compounding gains, right? This is how wholesale works. What's the point in waiting 6 months to sell a particular product for a profit if it means that there's a lost opportunity cost? I was having this discussion actually with like the person that does repricing for us, because I was telling her to be very aggressive with the repricing, of the things. Sorry everyone, I tank listings. But like, this is how you need to make this is how you make money at scale. You need to be tanking listings or whatever else like that. So I was just discussing how she really didn't want us to be making a loss on this particular product, but I was telling her, right, we've got 5 units of this product available. It's electronics. Electronics are generally always depreciating in value. New products are being released. You can't hold on to them for too long. She was very adamant that we can't make a loss on this particular product. We've got 5 units in stock. This particular item is available everywhere else for like £70 cheaper than our initial cost price. We want to purchase more stock to sell on, and we can't because we're selling it at such a high price and we're not getting any sales on it. And then like I went into our Amazon sales and I found out that at the price she had it on, we didn't have a single sale at all that wasn't seller initiated. So seller initiated is like if we sell on a different sales channel, you have that MCF order go through. So every single sale for that product was an MCF order, meaning that at the Amazon price, we didn't have any sales whatsoever. So you've got to be aggressive with your pricing. What I wanted to actually do as like a side project of mine is like code some like numerical methods to give different scenarios. Okay, given X amount of capital, given X target ROI price, and X speed of sale, can you forecast how much money I'd have, given this starting capital by the end of the year, by the end of a particular quarter, and run all of these scenarios not just because it's interesting for me, but like to show the people doing repricing, to not just base this on what feels right or like, no, to have like actual data to base this off. When you're making these decisions at all. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent here. Very big tangent.
I always like to hear about repricing. So,
yeah.
But no, it is it's really interesting if you actually run the numbers of the compounding of the profits. I think if you start with X amount of money and then you turn it over every 6 weeks or so you're spending your stock again, you're compounding the profits. If you turn that over every 6 weeks for a year, you just under 5x your money by the end of the year,
Right.
which is pretty crazy because there's a lot of people who think that kind of buying Lego in January and selling it in December is the way to go.
Yep.
It's like, you could double or even treble your money. But
Yeah.
actually, if you just turn it over and over and over and compound the profits,
Absolutely.
you're better off by the
Absolutely.
end of the year. Obviously, it is more work, but yeah, that's the way to do it. And also, like I don't mind. Sometimes you do have to take a loss on an item, particularly. I mean, sometimes Amazon to Amazons, because you're reliant on Amazon either selling out or putting the price back up, which sometimes doesn't happen. But I'm much more comfortable if I'm putting my money into something where I can pull the plug at any moment. I can say, oh, right, okay, I want to get my cash out. Let's drop down to the Amazon price and get the money out. But if you've gone deeper on an item that's only selling a couple of months, like the thing that you got to
Right.
of, that's an issue because you can't even get your money out even if you want to.
Right.
Unless you become a wholesaler and bundle it along
Yeah.
with some other item like the person you bought from did.
Exactly. Like I was saying, I used to make a lot of mistakes when starting out. So like a mistake that I used to make back then that hopefully I don't make anymore is just not targeting quick selling items. I want to know that this item is popular enough that I can liquidate it within like a few days or a week, or I don't want an item where you're only getting a few sales per year, and like if I've got cash flow issues, I'm stuck there and I can't do anything about it because cash flow is the name of the game when it comes to selling online, especially when it's wholesale. But like everything, online arbitrage, whatever you do, you need the cash to constantly be flowing through. So yeah,
for sure. I have a question for Gage. Changing the topic slightly. So, how have you dealt with your international infamy this week, having appeared on various news outlets for something that came out a few months ago, but it's now getting rehashed?
Well, I've been trying to hide. I'm constantly afraid that someone on the street's going to be like, "Oh, guys, it's that guy from LADBible. Let's get him." But thankfully, that hasn't happened yet. I had
emphasis on the yet.
Yeah. I went to the gym last week. The day like it had all come out on various news channels. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's brilliant. I really don't want to inform you of that. But I was on the news, and then I went to the gym that day, and I had in my head like, do not make eye contact with anyone because they might know it's me. So I go in there, I'm just looking at the ground the whole time, whatever. And as I leave, no one ever says like, oh, have a good day or whatever. At the front desk, people never talk to me. They talk to everyone else. They never talk to me. I don't know why. But on this particular occasion, the woman at reception, she was like, oh, have a good weekend. And I still had it programmed in my head, like, don't look at anyone. So I just like looked at the floor and was just like, yeah, thanks, you too. And just sped walked out of there really awkwardly. So maybe she knew it was me or maybe she didn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you do want to keep on, I mean, I think everyone knows about now. We can edit this bit out. If you
Just say it.
But yeah, so Gage has appeared on in LADBible, as he mentioned, the New York Post, The Sun, and probably others that we haven't seen yet. So
when did all of this happen? I heard of the LADBible. I didn't
yeah,
know
it was around the similar time. So some outlets referred to you as a millionaire, some so-called millionaire. I don't think you've ever actually.
No, I don't think I've said that anywhere.
No.
But I would like to set the record straight. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a multi-millionaire. That is, of course, a joke.
And coming up next, live bank account reveal. But yeah, so interestingly, the person who wrote and was distributing these to the various outlets actually contacted me for a comment, but I decided to politely decline the offer because, I mean, but obviously they've said that you claim to be a millionaire, which you never have, well, until now.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything that I would have said would likely have been taken out of context.
I did actually get asked for comment as well by the same guy, but I thought I saw this DM and I was like, I'm not going to respond. Because maybe that means he doesn't publish the story.
Don't pretend you don't love it.
Yeah.
Or
I genuinely don't.
And yeah, the headline on the Sun was actually not loving it. So,
oh yeah, and it was millionaire claims McDonald's. And
millionaire slammed after getting 100 McDonald's meals for free.
It went from claims to be a millionaire to just millionaire. Source.
It's like
LADBible.
Chinese whisperers, isn't it? It's just one up every time.
But yeah, if the person who wrote this wants to come onto the podcast to discuss so that things can't get taken out of context and it'd be completely unedited, feel free to reach out and yeah, we'll actually respond this time.
Yeah, get him on the pod.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So have you ever used your skills for evil in terms of coding or finding hacks or anything like that, like Gage has?
So,
like Gage allegedly has.
Allegedly.
So not per se. So what I've done before, and it's like how I used to get PlayStations back in the day. I think a lot of people did air fryers, PlayStations, that sort of thing. I did use like my own custom tools for that. I also used it to like combat other sellers at the time. So I maybe you guys might have experienced this before, but back in the air fryer days where we had like 100 plus sellers on that like AF400 listing, and only one person getting buy box. Obviously it'd rotate, but like a lot of competition for that. You had people doing buyouts of everyone else. Say there was like a lot of tanking. People thought they were being like white knights or whatever by just buying out everyone that's at a cheaper price so that they can maintain a higher price. So what I did at the time was I created like a simple script where it would like prevent me from ever being bought out. So like it would always like be polling Amazon to like update the quantity to like basically infinite on an FBM listing as well at the time. So like FBA sellers, they were getting screwed by that. But yeah, FBM sellers, you can have however many you want in stock. So like I'd have all of these pending orders, obviously knowing none of them will go through. But also have like legit buyers, but it's quite scary because like when you don't actually know like if those pending orders are legit or not. and like you're really risking your Amazon account, because imagine if you get like a few thousand pending orders that actually do go through, and then you don't ship a single one out, you cancel everything, you've lost your Amazon account.
So just to get it straight,
Yeah.
so you were pricing on this FBM listing,
Yeah.
and some essential trolls were just buying you out constantly to stop you selling at the lower price.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the lower price. It's just like if you, I think that their logic was like, if you buy out everyone, there'll be less people on the listing, less competition in general. But I guess like a natural side effect of that was like that the prices would increase as well. But yeah,
That's over. So you were baiting the people buying out everyone's stock pretty much.
Yeah.
Taking a bomb for the rest of the
Right. Yeah.
rest of the community.
And for those that don't know, if you buy an order with like a credit card that doesn't work, it will pend the order for like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then that stock's just held. So it's a very clever idea to keep up. But yeah, I would be scared. I'd sell way too many.
Yeah.
But you can get around this as an FBA seller by sticking a quantity limit on. So you can have 100 in stock of an item, but if you set the maximum order quantity to 3, people can only buy 3. I guess if someone really wanted to, they could use multiple credit cards or something like that.
Have you ever heard of these Chinese sellers that manipulate the listings by doing something like that?
No.
So you can have an order limit set. They'll send you like basically a ransom note in your Amazon account. I've seen someone I know this happen to, right? They're selling on this like maybe private label listing, and there's just one other seller, this Chinese seller. They get a DM in their inbox and they're like, stop selling this ASIN, or we are going to order everything on your store and keep it pending forever. And he thought, oh, this is bullshit, right? It actually happened. Every single different ASIN, even with quantity limit, bought out on like hundreds of different accounts, and they repenned it every time until he agreed to remove the ASIN.
That is I don't get how Amazon can't intervene with that, especially as he would have got the message through the Amazon. They don't care. They literally message you on the Amazon account too.
Yeah. No, it's a real thing that's happened.
So what was their reasoning for wanting the ASIN to be removed?
Oh, no. So they just wanted to be the sole seller of the ASIN.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
That is scary.
You don't want to be getting your laptop out straight away.
No, I've actually experienced something like that before. It's a little bit different though, but it was also a Chinese seller where my first venture into Amazon was private label. So I had created like a private label listing, and obviously I should be the only seller. I should be the only brand, like the brand owner at Amazon have this brand registry thing. I've got the trademark for the brand. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they changed the brand on that particular seller to like be their own store. So like anyone that visits our listing, if they click on the brand name, they're redirected to their store. And I kept messaging the Amazon bots, seller support, to sort it out for us. We can't get the listing back. I got like one of our staff members as well to like keep pursuing this, and till this day it's our listing with our product on there, but it's like the Chinese seller's store.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard stories of this happening where someone starts a private label item, and actually their manufacturer, the person that they're going to in China or wherever to manufacture the item for them, they actually sell the listing themselves as well. And obviously, their costs are way lower because they're lower in the.
I've seen that happen as well. It's what scares me a little bit from private label. Obviously, I don't want to say that because it's like with the wholesale game. There's their business is generally manufacturing, so like you can make money, but it does happen, and I've seen it happen before. And you need to be careful of that.
But
if you're doing private.
One thing I wanted to ask you about that we touched on when we messaged before coming on here was around Google Shopping and PPC ads, because obviously there's for private label, obviously that's a must because you need to get eyes on your listing. But you mentioned that it could be useful for OA sellers as well, which isn't something that I've ever really considered.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So like one way that OA sellers can not have to deal with all the problems that come with selling on Amazon and dealing with buy box and all of that is just to sell on different channels. One of those channels that people don't generally think of is your own website. Now, where if you're selling on your own website, you're not going to get traffic to that. No one's going to know who you are. People, when it comes to Amazon, people go there and use it as a search engine. But obviously, there's many search engines out there, Google being the biggest one, of course, when it comes to shopping. What you can do is you can create your own website through Shopify. Very easy to get started with a Shopify site. And there are apps on there that will import all of your Amazon listings for you. They'll do like the quantity sync, everything like that. You'll have them all there. And then immediately you have access to this thing called Google Merchant Center, where if you sync your Shopify store with Google Merchant Center, your products will be available on like that Google Shopping banner or like the slider. And Google Shopping, a lot of people, it gets a lot of traffic. I think I put like 1.2 billion searches. I researched it, don't quote me on the number, but it's like a lot, right? What you can then do to take it a step further is actually advertise using Google Ads. I got into it completely by chance, actually. There was this guy at the self-storage place that I used to be at. And, he was interested in purchasing air fryers at the time. And, I was like, I'm selling these on Amazon. I don't want to deal with this guy. This is a problem, it's with me. And ever since then, I never say no to anyone because you never know what, like, someone might teach you. But at the time, I didn't think too much of this guy. I'm doing my thing, guy. I sell air fryers on Amazon, no problem. Then this guy, he's very persistent. So like I chat to him. What's your story? What is it that you do? What is it that you're looking for? And he tells me that he's got his own website that he sells on. Because he doesn't like eBay, for example, and Amazon, because he doesn't want to deal with like returns and he wants to be in control, which I thought, this guy, he's missing out on all of those sales. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But then like he gives me some stock to sell, and he's got the same stock. I list it on eBay. I'm not getting any traction, and like I would like to think that I've got the eBay algorithm mastered completely. This guy, he manages to get lots of orders through on this exact same product. I'm like, how have you done this? He tells me, through my own store, through Shopify. And then I visit his Shopify store, and it looks like a very, very basic site. It looks very similar to these older sites from like 2010 or something like that. It's not like one of these new modern UI websites. And I'm thinking, like if he can get sales through that, like I think that I should be able to. Like I'm not saying I'm a designer or anything, or a web developer, but like with Shopify, if you just buy a paid theme on there, like you can have a beautiful website for not very much money at all. So then I start chatting with this guy. We start helping each other out. I start getting him on back market on eBay because that's good for like refurbished products. He gets me on Shopify and Google, just chatting with this guy taught me all about Shopify and how you can get like more traffic through your own website than you can do on Amazon. I've had it happen to me before. During Christmas, actually, there's this particular product that on our Shopify store, we were getting way more sales than we were on Amazon. So basically, just don't sleep on Shopify. Don't sleep on all the platforms. TikTok Shop's a new one that people are getting into. It's not really the best for electronics, but even though like it's not the best, people still do sell electronics on there, and they get good sales. It's just to get it started. It's very, very low effort to have a Shopify store. Of course, like there are lots of costs when it comes to maintaining it, making it look as pretty as possible, all of that. Paying for ads, that's a very, very big one. Like I can talk about paid advertising for days on end and all the mistakes that were made, the amount of times Google suspended us. Google suspended us. Like when we started Shopify, it was in November of 23, so Q4 of last year. And busiest time of the year, we start the website we get a few sales. I'm over the moon. I'm like, okay, nice new platform. Let's get this started. A few hours later, Google Merchant Center, Google Ads completely banned. And obviously devastating. This is like the busiest time of the year. It's when everyone is shopping. I spend like basically the entirety of November trying to figure what's going on. I've got my friend to help me. I hire people from Upwork, completely useless. If you need stuff done, you need to do it yourself when it comes to that. A lot of the time, maybe there are people that might help you. There are these like agencies that claim to be able to help you for like a few $1,000s, but of course like their fees are non-refundable, and like anyone can open an agency and just say they can do XYZ, and if they just acquire you as a customer and say it's non-refundable, then they've made their money. They don't need to help you. Took us a month to get it unblocked and unsuspended. But like the majority of electronics purchases, I feel happen in November anyway. But it's fine. You learn, you keep moving, and yeah, that's a little Shopify.
Do you
story.
think the Shopify thing works for OA sellers who are selling everything and anything?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. This is something I didn't realize as well, because when it came to this guy's website that I was talking to you about, his website's not pretty at all. Like the landing page isn't nice, but like I was telling him, your website isn't good. Why would anyone purchase from your site? And he was saying he doesn't get traffic to his website; he gets traffic to his products. So what happens is someone's searching for, I don't know, some like product. Toys or whatever, they put the toy name into Google, Lego whatever set, and you get like all of the listings on the internet or that are part of Google for that particular product. The person clicks on that particular product, generally on mobile. That's where you get like the best traffic. Apple Pay, within like 10 seconds, they've purchased the item and it's straight to the product. It's not to the website. So absolutely, if you sell everything and anything, you will.
Yeah, because you mentioned the air fryer guy whose Shopify's site looked like shit, but he was just showing up in the Google Ads. People click it, they go straight to checkout on his site. And then are you using the Amazon MCF to fulfill them? So this stuff is already in FBA stock. So MCF is multi-channel fulfillment. So your stock that's already in Amazon, you can actually use Amazon's delivery network to fulfill your Shopify, eBay, whatever else sales as well.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what we do. You just have to be careful about it, with that, because we've been stung many times before where certain platforms, they don't accept Amazon logistics as a courier. eBay surprisingly does. I was very surprised by that, but like not many people would be selling on back market, but just
Wait, what is back market?
back market. It's very niche. Like it's just for refurbished electronics, mainly mobile phones. But like you can sell anything on there because they have the same tactic as like your own store. They invest so much money into Google Ads, and I'm pretty sure that's where they get all their traffic as well. So like if you search for like iPhone 15, we can experiment with it at some point, but like if you search for iPhone 15 or iPhone 14, back market is going to be the first result on Google, generally for like a refurbished phone. So yeah.
Interesting. So if someone doing OA at the moment wanted to go down this Shopify Google Ads route and using the MCF to fulfill them, what sort of money are we talking in terms of Google Ads? Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands to be able to generate some sales?
So with Google Ads, you can invest not very much money, or you can invest a lot of money. You can lose a lot of money. Like there is no one answer. I've had a few friends ask me about this before, and there are periods where we're investing like a lot of money per day on paid ads, and we're not getting any traffic whatsoever, or we're getting a lot of traffic, but like we're not getting any conversions. Other times where, for whatever reason, we're getting a lot of conversions. So like you can invest as little as a few pounds per day into Google PPC or Google Ads, and you may get sales from that. You may get sales not even investing anything at all, just by like linking your merchant center with Shopify. you might be able to get some sales. Like, I recommend every single person watching this that's an Amazon seller do that right now, or not right now, but like do that at some point. It might take you a few hours just to set up your store and to link everything across. But once you've done that, it's all completely automated. Also, there's this free software that Amazon have created. Well, they haven't created, but they've bought it out, called Vcode. Sellers might have seen it in their Seller Central. That completely automates all of your MCF orders. As soon as you get a Shopify order, instantly creates a seller-initiated order for you, and you never have to worry about Shopify at all. Like, the only time you might need to worry about it is if like a customer has a problem with delivery or whatever. But apart from that, it's completely automated, and it's a few hours worth of work. So I'd recommend everyone do that. I tweeted about it once, just how to get all of that set up and all the apps that you need to use. I'd recommend.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
everyone
So
do that,
where,
for sure.
where can people find you on Twitter?
So it's ecom_Nova.
Link in the description as well. I checked out your Twitter before this, and it's an absolute gold mine, guys. You really do have to check it out. You give so much away for nothing.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's really valuable. Check that out. And just to add to the Google Merchant, I have like a niche Shopify site that I use to get my first like direct to brand deal, and I don't run any ads on it because I actually have no intent. It was just kind of like a fake site so I can sell their stuff on Amazon. I get orders on that like maybe once every 2 weeks. I run no ads, and my prices are high because I don't want anyone to buy it. It's just kind of like a front. And anytime I get an order, I just drop ship it from another website to the person. And I genuinely get sales on it. No ads, no effort. The site looks okay, but it's nothing fancy, and it only took a few hours.
With doing the Google shopping, how's that impact margin as well? So I know that Joe Lister's a thing for like selling things on eBay where you sell across from selling on Amazon. How does that impact the amount of fees that you pay on a sale?
Very, very good question. So it's different from a marketplace like Amazon. A marketplace like Amazon, you know exactly how much you're going to spend for a particular product. So you can afford to like have, lower margins or whatever else. When it comes, also, if you ever need to refund a buyer, you get your money back. When it comes to Google Ads, I found this out the hard way. Obviously, it should be completely obvious, but like, you're not going to get your advertising money back if you have to refund a customer, for example. So you have to take that into consideration. When it comes to ad spend, it really depends on the sort of products that you're selling. We target a 10%. Like we try to make it similar to the marketplaces where, if Amazon, it's like 10% fees, we're paying 10% in ads on Google. Of course, you have like your payment processing fees and your Shopify fees as well. Actually, we have to pay Shopify fees, but most of you won't have to pay Shopify fees if you're using Shopify payment processor. But we typically aim for like a 10% margins, but you just have to be careful with basically you can end up paying a lot more than that 10%. Also, you're not going to get your ad spend back. So you just have to always keep a close eye on your ad spend, because we've lost a lot of money advertising at very bad times. So like in January, we had the same ad spend as December, and I'm not going to say new to advertising, but relatively, like, I haven't invested a lot of time into it. You can't like be the best at like all of these things that you do in e-commerce. Had the same ad spend as December and didn't have anywhere near as many conversions, lost a lot of money on advertising in January. So always keep an eye on ad spend when it comes to selling on your own store.
That is an important lesson. So right, well, that has absolutely flown by. I mean, if you're happy to come on again at some point, because there's a whole raft of other stuff we could talk about and go into more detail on that we haven't already. But yeah, should we wrap it up there, Jen?
Yeah. Make sure to check out his Twitter. Seriously, ecom_Nova. It's really good.
Yeah, so thanks so much for joining us today, Asim. It's been really fascinating to have you on. So yeah, check out his Twitter. Link will be in the description below. Catch you again next week.
Thank you for listening.
Goodbye from Gage.
Cheers, guys.
Goodbye from Harry, and goodbye from Asim.
Thank you, everyone.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.